Hey, what's up, guys? I am going to do a little midweek review. I think, going into these next few weeks, the the market's becoming less and less high probability, and that's just the holiday season. Again, a lot of traders take it off between the last 2 weeks of December, first 2 weeks of January. A lot of traders take it off. With us being in this daily consolidation on the indices. I also That's also low probability. So, these first 2 weeks of December, we're in a tough condition there. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that trading break a little early. And I'll kind of shift the content on this page to a little more of, back testing reviews. And again, that isn't, I feel like that's just a smart thing to do right now. If you should be following ICT himself on YouTube. And if you notice today, he posted a video and it was kind of like, why I don't trade non-farm payroll week. And he walked away green, but he ended up placing, he said, I think the title was 3 trades, 2 losses. So, he's out here taking losses. There's no reason for us to try to push it with the concepts that he authored when he's showing us like these conditions aren't right. And if whether you're new to these concepts, then you might not know how accurate and powerful they can be when the conditions are right. And if you aren't new to these concepts and you were following ICT throughout his 2023 mentorship, I'm sure you already understand that. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be kind of shifting gears and doing a lot more back testing. I'll be still posting weekly forecasts. I'll still be posting. I think what I'm going to do is I'll still do the weekly forecast, and then I'm going to either do midweek updates or like end of the week updates, like on a Friday or Saturday, and kind of recap the week. And what I'll do is I'm going to try and kind of do a tape reading, like look back and kind of highlight, through ICT's concepts, like what happened. So I want to do that right now for a little midweek update. I think the week's been kind of interesting and just kind of, start posting more content on the channel again. So here's the dollar. And if you watched our weekly forecast for this week, I talked about how I believe we were going to sweep this liquidity, which we did the week prior, and we're going to come up to this weekly fair value gap. So if you look on the weekly, we have touched it. Now the really interesting thing is do we retrace and go lower and take out this low, or do we come up through it, close above it, and continue higher? I am moving forward with the belief that we are going higher on the dollar until we take out this low. I think we're going higher. We could spend a few days inside this weekly fair value gap and then take it down. But I think if we are going to get above it, we're going to get above it pretty quickly. So, but that's, this week's almost coming to an end. So that's probably going to be a next week watch. If you can see on the daily and the weekly forecast, we talked about, our first objective is getting through this daily. We closed the candle above it, but just remember that daily PD arrays can be violated if the algorithm is trying to reprice on the higher time frame, the weekly. So even if we did want to get into this weekly fair value gap to go lower, we would have to get through this daily. But the fact that we got through this daily shows that it's not super, super weak, because if the dollar was very, very weak, it wouldn't even make it to this weekly fair value gap. That fair value gap would be a breakaway gap, and it would turn around at this dollar and go lower. It wouldn't be able to get above this high. So the fact that we closed above this, it's good. Next week, what I'll be doing is I'll really be watching to see how we dig up into this. For the next 2 days, I'll be watching how we close candle bodies around this. I'll be watching, do we wick up into it, and the end of the day, the body closes respecting it? Maybe we do that twice, and next week is when we roll over. Maybe we get some big candles in the next 2 days that are, digging up into this, and it's kind of showcasing that next, this week into next week, it's going to get through this quickly. So that's what I'll be looking for. And that's what's happening. So let's go to NASDAQ. Now, again, remember in the weekly forecast and last week too, we talked about how we wanted to dig down into these higher time frame PD arrays. Now we have done it. And remember, now that we've touched it, doesn't mean we automatically have to expand as fast as we want to this buy side, because we were looking at this level last week and look, it just went range bound, range bound, range bound, range bound. This week at the open, we ran down into it and then retraced pretty quickly. So I'm still not sure if it wants to roll deeper. I think it could. Let's go to the 4 hour. I want to draw your attention to, so this black box is the week we're trading in, and these black lines denote the daily, they separate the days. So something I want to talk about right now is I'm going to bring up a few weekly profiles, and we're going to kind of talk. I think this is what I'm going to do in these weekly, recaps. I think when I recap the week, I'm going to try and point to the core content months as much as possible. I think you should, go do those core content videos on your own, but, just for the sake of accuracy, I'm going to try and kind of point back to the core content as much as possible. So in this black box is the week. These black lines denote the days. And if you can see on Monday, we came down really quickly down into this and then retraced hard. So when we did that, something that it made me remember was ICT has a video on the core content month 7. I believe I think I wrote it down. It's like a month 7 video, either 6 or 7. He talks about the speed at which a market goes to a specific higher time frame level is very important. And I think he talks about, how do you identify a market reversal early? And he said speed, basically speed and magnitude is how you identify are we going to have a midweek reversal or not? So when we had this speed and magnitude on Monday, in that video he talks about, if it's going really fast to a higher time frame level, it's repricing to that just to reprice so it can go higher. So when I did the weekly forecast on Monday and I saw this, I said for the week I think we're going higher. And we kind of, up until this afternoon, I was looking pretty correct. But now we retraced a little more than I would have wanted to on NASDAQ and on ES. So let me pull up. I took a little snippet out of that core content video I was just talking about. So right here in that core content, he gives an example of how when we move really fast, it's doing that early in the week, it's doing that to reprice higher. So as you can see, I try to do a similar thing here where in this black box is the week. These are the days. So Sunday gets lumped together with Monday, but here was Monday repricing really quickly. We came up, and now here's when it gets interesting, because in that core content month 7, he talks about, you want to look for the low of the week to be placed Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. So we have a low on Monday, a higher low on Tuesday, and then we reprice higher. So let's go over some market profiles to see, what are the options today or this week. So we know it's not going to be, a classic Tuesday high of the week. Let me fix this for you guys. So it's not going to be a classic Tuesday high of the week because we wouldn't have had this retracement right here that deep. Let's pick another one. Another one is consolidation midweek rally. Actually, I don't think it's that one. Sorry. Consolidation midweek decline. So Wednesday is an important day because it can be a pivot point for more downside. So just because we came all the way up here doesn't mean it's going to continue going. Remember the difference between shift in structure and sweep of liquidity. So it could still come lower. And watch, it's going to be hard to see the difference between these two charts that I show, but we have consolidation midweek decline. So you can notice this Wednesday high, swing high, doesn't come. It comes up to a higher time frame PD array from the Monday area. And then we have, let me see. It's kind of hard for me to see these on my. Here we go. Wednesday high of the week. So it looks like this is the closest thing to the structure we have right now. And this Wednesday high of the week, so the high comes above the Monday high. So right here we have the Monday high, came up above it. Now, this doesn't automatically mean we're going to come down and take these lows into the rest of the week. Remember, we have non-farm payroll tomorrow, and it could easily be news driver that sends it higher. So look at what we have there, and then look at this. Consolidation Thursday reversal. So, and this is, it's really hard to kind of identify all these things, especially because we've been in consolidation. We're still in this range right here. So we could easily, we came up on Wednesday, took out the Monday high, came up on Wednesday, took out the Monday high. And then actually I'll remove this photo in a minute. So just remember, look at the structure right here and look at Thursday specifically. Thursday is this swing low forms. So here's our Wednesday. We took out the Monday high. It could come down here, form a swing low, say between now and, in the Asian and London sessions, it trickles down here. And then in New York, it, drops down and then goes higher. It could completely do that. It could just drop. It could drop down to this new week opening gap. And remember, we have this higher time frame weekly fair value gap right here. So it could go lower, and we're still in this consolidation. If you pull up ES, it's showing very similar. And, another reason why it's probably better to kind of take that break for the holidays earlier is these markets are pretty decoupled right now. If you can see this high on ES right here on Friday the 1st, this was way, way higher high. That took out all this buy side. On NASDAQ, it didn't do that. And now we broke lower. NASDAQ made a significant low. ES made a low, but it wasn't a low that took out all this sell side. We had them both come up this week. It seems they both took the Monday high. And now we're going lower. So, again, I just want to reiterate, this is a very, very difficult time for the indices. And it's probably best to, take the holiday break, because you shouldn't be trading all the way to the end of December and early January. If you're trading these concepts, you should not be trading the last 2 weeks of December and the first 2 weeks of January, because the precision that these concepts can give you is, and if you haven't mastered them yet, and I don't think I've mastered them, which is why I'm doing this. You during a healthy time, and if you understand the concepts, then you can say, okay, stop should be here, and then this is the draw on liquidity, and it's going to go there. But in these lower probability markets, you'll place your stop, and then it'll run it, and then go. It might only make it to one level of liquidity, and not all the way. And again, I just kind of refer back to ICT's video today, where I'll try and link it, where he took 2 losses, and he's like, oh well, yeah, took 2 losses, and he's like, this is why I don't trade NARF on payroll, or normally his breaks, he's usually not trading. He stops trading early November or mid-November, and then he starts up mid-January. So again, it's better to not kind of erode your confidence and your understanding. I think now's a great time to back test. And, if you're trying to trade in this and it's not going well, then you could, that can be hurting you. Versus if you just say, I'm going to back test in this, that's only going to support you, because you're only just going to be able to back test, find where it makes sense and really reinforce the concepts. I had somebody on the YouTube channel make a comment on one of my videos, and they said ICT equals I can't trade. And I've seen that before. I think that's really funny spin on the acronym. But one thing I will say is people who are doing better than you do not speak down on other people trying to better themselves. So I think that's funny. I will remember that comment. But just know that little piece of advice. Anyone who's doing better than you will never talk down on you for trying. So clearly, I don't have anything to worry about for him. But again, so continuing with, the rest of this week, I think we could go lower down into here. I think we could turn around. For the market profile that would have us going higher. Let me pull that up, because I think that one, we wouldn't have come so low today. That's not it. Let's find it. So we have consolidation, midweek rally again, so these are all in context of the, I think it's hourly, and we could, we made this low right here on a Wednesday, so this could be coming down into a higher time frame PD array. The only problem is I think ES came a lot lower than I would have wanted. Remember, on the PD array matrix, lows are PD arrays, but I don't like how low it came. Again, with these news drivers, it could easily come down below these lows, make that swing low in like another market profile, and then come ripping up. So the last market profile I want to draw your attention to is the seek and destroy. So again, and the seek and destroy you have on Thursday making this low, and then off a news driver it rips higher. So think of kind of right here. This, I wish I could. I can't get these lines down onto here. But last week was a very classic seek and destroy market profile. Let's find Monday. So Monday into Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday, lower low, Friday. So let me remove the picture. See down here on ES, we have this kind of consolidation, takes out buy side on Monday here, comes down, takes out sell side from Tuesday, and then rips higher into the close on Friday off of, news. So again, we could have a very similar thing happening this week. Right there. It could also just go lower. And I feel like I keep doing this, like it could do this, it could do that. And it's really because you look at this sideways price action we're in. It's very difficult to kind of try and understand and see where we're at with this consolidation, with the time of the year. So I'm going to be personally taking my winter break from trading early and doing more back testing. I think going into the last 2 weeks of December, I'll probably slow down, even just stop making videos. But up until the last 2 weeks, I'll do some back testing, and I will be posting that to the channel. But here's a little midweek review on what could happen. Again, I suggest you go and I'll find the video and link it. I know I'm pretty good at remembering which month of core content I'm talking about, but when it comes to the videos within them, I kind of blank on which specific video. The video with the market profiles, I'll link it here. It might have been 5. That's a good one to watch. So again, be careful. I suggest you really consider taking your break for the winter break early, especially if you are having trouble in these markets. Again, very common. Most people do it. I think it's very uncommon for traders to be profitable traders to be trading around the Christmas, New Year's time. So again, careful guys, and I'll talk to you soon.